One thing people need to remember, this is kind of a cross-platform game. You've got two different versions.
There's been nothing really since 1.16 that's been massively mega game-changing. Really, if you look at it, nothing really.
It's really hard to say what Mojang is going to do next. Hello and welcome to Minecraft Lab, where we explore, experiment, and theorize about all things Minecraft. I am Minor Thoughts, and with me is a man that, like a tree, woke up early this morning, got in line, and logged in the Trojan.
You're really stretching, aren't you, for wood puns?
Hey, that was not mine.
That
one was not mine. That was submitted by our very own Mika 89. Mikala 89.
Oh, Mika. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. And I did notice that on the Twitter sphere and the socials, you're actually taking submissions now for my intro based on wood.
Yes. I'm asking the community to help me out to keep it fresh. You know, fresh wood every podcast. We want fresh wood.
Glorious.
Community, help me out. Send us an email. You know it, minecraftlabpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter. I know I'm doing this early. You can find us on Twitter, not Twitter, X, at _podcast. But
can I take a couple of minutes of our time? I want to apologize for those that might be just new to Minecraft Lab and new to Interrealms and new to us in general listening, because the statistics of Minecraft Lab, the podcast, is actually moving up through the roof week to week. It's actually cool to see. And thank you and welcome to all new listeners and those that listen on the regular. You might be wondering, what is with this wood thing? I mean, if I was listening to a podcast for the first time, it's like, here's a man who has all the wood. I'd be going, what? It's an in-joke based on my streams, to the point where I have little wood. I'm the woodman, and there's even a song that everyone loves, Trojan's Wood. So if you want to know more,
good.
It is so good, apparently. And there's even a parody version of it by Minor Thoughts and Blind Cubsy. So I guess if you want to know more about that and see why that is an in-joke, check out my Twitch. There'll be a link below. And then obviously, check out mine as well, because he joins me for stream sometime and wood seems to come up there too.
I better not. Because, see, the wood puns, they're on this line, this very thin line of being PG-13. So I'll just stop all thoughts right here, and we'll just get into why we came here today to talk about what is going to be the next Minecraft update for 1.21.
More wood.
Well, yeah.
And I'm not saying that facetiously. It's just that the last two updates have had more wood. We've had more wood.
Yeah.
And it's great, because we were limited to 6 types of wood for so long. Then 1.16, we got wood, more wood. I didn't even need that one. we got 2 new wood types, and then we got mangrove, and we got cherry, bamboo. It's great. So we're going to get more wood this time.
Mm-hmm.
They've looked at biomes too in recent times and doing changing, and following on from the trails and tails, or tails and trails, whatever it is. The whole idea of exploration. Maybe we're going to get more biome updates, more trees, or way to use trees differently again, or something like that. I do know there was a picture that was put up by one of the by Nembom that Doc M77 picked up that had what looked like layered sand in the background. Which was denied as being anything. But maybe they're looking at biomes again, which I guess technically probably makes sense.
I'll have to look that up because I saw one as well put out by a developer, and his comment was, what if we don't update the end? What if we do this instead? And that it showed the Badlands, with the different layers you see in the Mesa or Badlands, whatever you want to call it.
I love the Badlands Mesa. I think they are beautiful structures. And when you actually combine them in the Terralift World Generation, which is a mod pack called Terralift, check it out if you haven't already, they are stunning. They are breathtaking. So to see them want to do that, I wouldn't be against that at all. And they are, to me, one of the more interesting ones because, you've got a lot more surface level abandoned mine shafts in there. And with, if they re-look at that as a whole structure and a whole thing, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, but I don't think there's no villages there. Last episode we talked about villagers and how they're proposing changing those, but pretty much the Badlands is pretty barren. Other than the abandoned mine shafts, you don't really have any other structures. So I don't know. Maybe that. See, there's other biomes that do need a rework. The jungle needs more structures. Right now, it's only got the jungle temples, which are small in comparison to things,
And they're not interesting. They're not interesting. The jungle temples,
right? And they did update the slightly the desert pyramids for the archaeology, but there's biomes that are still lacking.
Why didn't they put in suspicious gravel?
That I couldn't answer.
Because they're going to look at jungle. That's my theory. Because you look at the villager thing, they want people to have villages in the jungle to get mending or get one particular sort of book. They didn't touch the jungle temple with archaeology, which to me it doesn't make sense. All the other structures of even remotely related to archaeology got the addition of suspicious gravel, suspicious sand, even those things under the water got them. But the jungle temple didn't. Doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So maybe because they knew in the longer term planning, they're going to come back and look at jungles. So do we get jungle and mesa?
Right.
Or are we reading too much into things?
Well, again, with this last update, the Tales and Trails, it was a weird development cycle, and the way they did it, because they didn't want to overpromise things, and still the way they're doing things, they're adding things in little by little. Are they going to continue with that? I know a lot of people would really like the end to get a total revamp, because it's pretty much it's more of a barren wasteland. We really, really want the end. I would love to see the end redone. And we have theorized that they're going to do something with the ancient city portal, maybe with the end, or a new dimension. That's in the realm of possibility. But I think with the end, when they do it, they want it to be something special, like the Nether update. That was a total rework. And if you were to ask most people their favorite update, it would be that one, because it added so much to that place.
The thing with updates is they need to grab people that haven't played for a while and say, we're going to come back to test this out. Someone new that hasn't ever played it, go, oh, that actually looks really interesting now. Grab them and pull them in. And there's been nothing really since 1.16 that's been massively mega game changing. Really, if you look at it, nothing really that's been anything. And I'm on record in previous podcasts saying this. It's nothing that's really, it's changing the fabric of the game. It's giving new experiences. 1.16 definitely did that. It gave you a whole new experience. There's a whole new game system that you could try, a new challenge. Start in the Nether. You couldn't do that previously. Right. It gave you something different, something new. So I think soon they're going to have to go, right, we need another big thing. Now, you could argue, I guess, that the cave generation, Caves and Cliffs, was a game changer. I would argue not as much as a 1.16 update. So I think at some stage you will see an end update. But I don't think it's as pressing as the need for the Nether update. And the reason I say that is when they updated the Nether, they come out and said the reason they chose to do it because the average time spent in the Nether by a player was like 6 or 7 minutes. That was it. And there were people that had never been to the Nether. And really, if you look at it, if you didn't use the Nether for faster travel between sites and you weren't really that much into redstone, there really wasn't a need to go there. I say redstone because you need quartz for bits and pieces for redstone stuff. So unless you're really doing it, you didn't need to go there. So I think they had identified that as being the case. So need to give people a reason to go there. So they recreated the Nether into something totally new. And then time went up there. Why I don't think it's so pressing that they're really worrying about the end so much is because people spend a lot more than 7 minutes in the end.
Right.
right? So I don't think they necessarily care too much at this point. I don't think they see it as a necessity straight away, because people go end busting for hours at a time in the end. So if they use the same logic to decide what update they're going to do, and they use the same line in the sand, so to speak, then the end's a fair way off. I don't think end. I would like to see an end update. I'll be very surprised if it's this one. I don't think they're on that train of thought, and if they're using the same logic as 1.16 with the Nether, they probably won't be. I don't think they're going to add in another dimension yet. I think they've got longer term plans for another dimension, and it's all around those ancient city portals. I mean, you don't introduce a build like that into the game without having some longer term vision for it or what it could do. So I think it's been set there as a placeholder for something in the future, and I'm hoping soon we'll get one of those two things, because that is going back to the game changing the very experience of the game. Like if you look at what we're in now, 1.20, there's nothing really added that changes your Minecraft experience. Not to a great degree.
I understand what you're saying. Someone playing pre 1.16 and then playing after, it's totally recognizable, the change with another update, with the caves and cliffs, someone playing, pre that, and then after that, unless they're going deep or going high in the mountains, they would have never known that those changes were made. If they're just, staying in one area. A massive change is needed. I agree, but I just don't think it's now. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say what Mojang is going to do next. I did see King B Dogs mention that they're working on some stuff that he's really excited for, but of course he's not going to give out any information.
No, I think one thing they really need to look at, and I mean really need to look at, is inventory. And
that's what I was just going to get into next.
They've already got an inventory problem that is existing, and they keep adding items to the game, which only increases the inventory problem. So, I'm going to refer back to modded again. Because there's so much in a modded server, in a modded world, your inventory fills up ridiculously quickly with stuff. And inventory is a problem, but modded also solves inventory problems, because with simple storage solutions and stuff like that. We are with it. Minecraft at the moment is we are adding in more items into the game. So there's more. If you do go adventuring, there is more to collect. There's more to pick up. There's more. When you're doing a big build, it is just a nightmare to navigate with inventory. I've got a build coming up on Interrealms, which is the better part of 250,000 blocks. And, I'm at the moment, there's a few on the server helping me put it all together. All those resources. We're up to 2 double chests full of shulker boxes of materials.
Wow.
And not even finished yet. They're probably going to need probably another 2 or 3 double chests worth of full shulker boxes of stuff.
Wow.
And I'll not say terrified of it, but I'm apprehensive about actually doing the build, because it's just like the way inventory work doesn't allow something like this. And I understand fully why people usually, when they're doing big, massive mega builds, they do them in creative, and then you don't know exactly they're doing it real. To think that I have to do this in survival at the moment is daunting.
Right.
And it's daunting because of inventory.
And then if you want to time lapse it, something, and I've seen this, I've seen the scale of this build, and it's not just going to be probably in one time lapse record, from start to finish. It's going to take hours. So it's probably going to be several different time lapses.
It will have to be, but it's on a scale I've never built before. But even when I go back to season 1 of Interrealms, when I did Dragon's Rest, the single biggest thing that was putting me off doing that sooner was inventory. I didn't know it at the time that it was inventory was my problem. But when I look back at it, and it was like why I wasn't doing it, it's because the way the inventory works in Minecraft. And when you're doing big builds like that, it's insanely hard. Now in Interrealms, we've got that the Zoomers mod to help with inventory management. But even then, when you're talking a scale of build of 250,000 blocks to place, even that's not going to help.
And even the mods like that we use, like Matica, I tried to do a time lapse using Lightmatica for the first time, and just my inventory was all over the place. And it was because if you're doing a build with a lot of different, a huge block palette, you've only got so much space to work with in your inventory. So it can be a struggle to try and time lapse a build and manage your inventory at the same time.
It's a challenge, all right, and it's not an easy one. So I'm hoping inventory gets a look at in an update really soon. And I'm not the only one that's crying out about that. But what I find is interesting, though, is if you go back 12 months or so, all the hermits and the big creators were all jumping up and down about inventory. We need it fixed, and trying to do a big push on. Where's all that gone? That's all disappeared. Why? Because they know it's coming?
Yeah, the hermits, are they on the inside on this whole inventory thing? Azuma, I don't know if it was Azuma or someone else, did a video on enchanted shulkers. And let's just theorize here for a second. What if they did something, a different enchantment or shulker boxes or something that's some type of enchantment that affected your inventory to where you still had to get out and explore to find this enchantment, to use it, added to, how we manage our inventory. Something like enchanted shulker boxes.
I don't think that's a bad thing, because it also goes along with their current line of thinking of getting out there and exploring. And I'm not asking, I guess, to be given a better inventory, but yes, I like the idea of help me make a better inventory in the game. So if I refer back to modded again, you actually start with the same inventory that you've got in normal vanilla Minecraft, but you can make different things like ender pouches and backpacks and other bits and pieces which help. And there is a progression in there where you get up to something similar to like Tom's Simple Storage, where basically you can, at the top tier, you can access your inventory, your whole base's inventory, anywhere if you've got it set up enough. So, but it's not just like a gimme. You've actually got it's a progression. You've got to work your way up to that. So I actually like that idea. It's just don't give us a fixed inventory. Give us a way to fix the inventory in using game mechanics.
Right. Yeah. I mean, either an enchantment or, how we have different upgraded types of things, tools. We start out with the wood tools, or then the stone, gold, iron, diamond, netherite, ways to upgrade our inventory. They have the bundles, but I think the bundles are still underdeveloped. There's still work to be done, and that's why they haven't fully released the bundles as a vanilla thing. I expect that part of this next update, 1.21, may focus on inventory management, and probably not the end.
I don't know whether it'll be a focus, but I'm hoping it's part of it. I don't think you're going to get excitement about 1.21, the inventory update. I don't think that's going to generate the buzz.
Right.
But I think it could be part of it. Not necessarily the main focus, but it definitely it's something that needs to be addressed and looked at. And one of the notes that I had, knowing that we were going to be talking about this in an upcoming podcast a few weeks, because, surprise, surprise, we actually do put a little bit of planning into this podcast. So a few weeks back, when we knew we were going to discuss this, I was on my phone, I was when you're at work and you go, oh, this would be an idea. So I was making notes of stuff to talk about. And one of them was villager reworking, because it needed to be done. So just like inventory needed to be done, villages need to be relooked at, rebalanced, reworked. And lo and behold, this week at time of recording, they've come out and said, hey, we're going to rework villages. So I think they'll acknowledge that inventory needs reworking. I just don't know whether they know how to do that or how to fix it.
Right. And if you look at people's opinions with the villagers at time of recording, they're like, you just don't understand what we want.
They don't have to understand what we want. They have to do what is right for them from a business, what their vision of the game is. We don't have to like it or enjoy it or whatever. We have to just go along with it. Fortunately, we get an input. We get a say. They do listen to the community as a whole. So it's not like we're married to it. But I think overall with updates, people get worked up as much as they want to. the end of the day, though, I guess this might be the last point I want to make, is it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter how much they do or what they change or how little they change or how big they change or what changes they make or what updates they make. End of the day, we get updates to a 10-year-old game for free on an ongoing basis. And we should be thankful that we haven't got a game that's dying that we all love, because they're keeping it up vibe and interesting at all times.
One thing people need to remember, this is kind of a cross-platform game. You've got two different versions. You've got Java and then Bedrock, and Bedrock being cross-platform, they have to make sure it plays the same across all those platforms, and they want to have these updates as close as possible to play on the different platforms. So they've talked about having two slightly different versions, but I think that would, again, upset some people if one version got this and the other version didn't. So they're trying to make things even play field for everybody and try to make things closer in parity. And they've made moves here lately to make things the same wherever you play.
I guess it's probably it's good to theorize about where they're heading with all these updates and that. It's probably a bit earlier in the game this time around to actually narrow it down. We've actually got a pretty good track record, you and I, sort of reading into what's happening in the socials and going, we think they're going to go this way. Like, we almost got it right with Trails and Tales. We were almost spot on the money with that one, like with adventure and whatnot.
Yes, we knew that exploration was going to be a part of it.
So I guess stick around, listen to our podcasts, and please, if you have got any theories and your thoughts, let us know.
Yes, make sure you like this video if you're watching on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to comment down below. Give us your theories. And if you are not watching this on YouTube and you're listening to it on just about wherever you find your podcast, whether it's Spotify, Audible, SoundCloud, we're on every single one of them. Some of those have comment sections, some of them don't, but you can find us on Twitter, again, at MC Lab. X. It's going to be hard. You could find us on X at mclab_podcast. That's our handle there. And also on Interrealms, smp.com. That's our website. You can find all the podcasts, Minecraft Lab, as well as others. And if you can't reach us there, you can find us. Give us your thoughts in an email at minecraftlabpodcast@gmail.com.
And speaking of emails, we do actually have an email that came through requesting at some stage that we talk about Education Edition. So I just wanted to say that, yes, we've received that.
See that.
We will look into that, and something that I personally have a little bit of experience with because of my kids. So yeah, we will potentially look at that at some stage down the track. But thank you for sending that suggestion through. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. I've got things to blow up, and Troj has some wood to cut. So
sounds painful.
We're going to get back to it.
All right, I'm going to get the Band-Aids ready, and I will see you next time, Mr. Minor Thoughts.
We'll see you in the next one. But if they were to put villages in different places like...
Minor, just off for a sec. I got a bunch of kookaburras sitting outside here, and they've just gone off, and it's picking up on the mic. So hang on a minute.
I heard it.
Did you? Sorry. All right, they've stopped. Sorry.
I don't know what a kookaburra is.
Really? Oh, it's a bird. They're about that big, and they laugh.
Oh.
And usually it's early mornings. They're a bit late today. Content creation.
Hold on.
It's all happening today.
Hello.